another episode of God Built This Podcast, PODMAS edition. I am your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 10. Under 10, there is this. Let's get into these topics. So, J-Lo is described as a mean girl. A mean girl. Now, it's alleged. I'm not sure if it's a true story or true experience, but there's a viral sensation of so many people with the same experiences of J-Lo being just a plain bitch. Apparently, she has this a mandate for her drivers to not turn around when they're driving her, to not look at the rear view mirror, because that means that they're looking at her in her perspective. She doesn't want anyone looking at her. She doesn't want anyone at all talking to her. And she is not much of a tipper. So apparently there was a moment when Ben Affleck, her current husband and an actor, we all know who Ben Affleck is, Batman, but he gave $100 tip to a waiter, and she ended up saying, no, give it back. And she gave the waiter just $5. Now, this could very well all be a lie. You know, sometimes with online stuff, people just jump on the bandwagon and act like what they're saying is the Bible, and it's hard to really determine if it's true or not. There is, and there has been, a rumor of J-Lo being this bitch, and who knows if any of that is true. But what I have heard over the years is that you never want to meet your celebrity. Right? Like, what I mean by that is, like, you don't want to meet the celebrity who you've idolized, who you've really revered. And, because typically when you meet them, they are totally not what you have expected. They're off their rocker, they're rude, they're dismissive, they don't care about the worship and idolization that you've given them along the years. And, Ellen DeGeneres is a great example of that. She has demonstrated herself to be this kind. She always ended her talk show with "be kind" or something like that. And come to find out, she was an awful person to work with at the very least. And people around her have been mysteriously dead. Her ex-girlfriend, Anne Heche, who was a straight woman before she dated Ellen, and ever since she dated her, her career has just spiraled in a negative way, while Ellen DeGeneres' career has transcended to a point of just superstardom. And, just a couple of months ago, actually, Anne Heche mysteriously died. And prior to her death, she was found online or caught on surveillance just acting erratic, very cuckoo, and just off. So you have these celebrities who present this particular picture of being nice, being kind, being charitable, but come to find out they're real life bitchs. Gabrielle Union is another example. She admitted herself, though, so that is a clear case that is factual. She admitted that she is a mean girl, that she is someone who really thrived off of being a bitch, and she was a hater amongst many other females in the industry. And she had to come to terms with that and realize that she needed to change. She realized that her being a bully was really because she felt insecure. So she talked about it in an interview like years ago and was very honest and transparent about that. And I really commended her for sharing that. But it actually made sense because the roles that she picked up along the years in her career, she was this bitch character, and she played it so well. And I do find it a little strange and a bit fascinating when actors play their characters so well to the point that dang, are you really this BITC? Like, are you really this person? Are you really this character? Like, I don't know. I guess it shows how well you are of an actor, of a thespian. But it also makes me worry that this is really your character, literally. But yeah, so J Lo's a mean girl. There's a video of J Lo, Jennifer Lopez, but in case whoever's listening may not know what I'm talking about, it's Jennifer Lopez. Um, she is walking in her old childhood neighborhood back in Southside Bronx, right? That's what she was talking about Southside Bronx in her records. She said, so she's walking along her neighborhood, her childhood neighborhood, and she comes across a childhood home. And there's this guy who's a current resident in her home, this older gentleman who is just like, an older man who's not really checking for what's going on in the media, the latest artists, or I guess maybe you would think that he would know J-Lo because everyone knows J-Lo. Like, I feel like the elders in my community know J-Lo, but this nigga didn't know J-Lo. And he looked like, I think he was Puerto Rican himself or just Hispanic at the very least. Who knows if he's Salvadorian or whatever it is, but he was definitely Hispanic. So she's saying to him, because he's outside on his porch in his current residence, despite it being the old childhood home of J-Lo, this is his current place. So she's telling him, this is where I lived growing up when I was a child. He's like, huh? Who? Jennifer. Hi, I'm Jennifer. This is where, and she's literally introducing herself to this guy. Hi, I'm Jennifer. This is where I live. And he's like, who's Jennifer? Jennifer Lopez. He's like, who's Jennifer Lopez? And she's like, me. I'm Jennifer Lopez. It's me. It is I who is Jennifer Lopez. So that was a humbling moment. And I laughed. I laughed at that scene. It seemed like it was genuine. There was a clip, or there was a comment in the comment box on Twitter, in the reply tweets, saying that this was like a SNL skit. I don't think it was, or something for American Idol. It looked like a genuine clip. Like, you know how you follow celebrities, or like they have these like behind the scene moments for like a documentary that they have, and this is like one of the scenes in their documentary. It seemed like it was one of those. So I really think it was a genuine moment. The guy, the current resident of J-Lo's childhood home, he looked like a real person, like an actual person who just didn't know what the fuck she was talking about or who she was. And it was just like, hey, you gotta humble yourself, humble yourself. So whatever, J-Lo's a mean girl, allegedly, and it is what it is. Like, I think, look, we have to stop putting people on these pedestals and understand that they're just good at what they do. And what they do is entertain. What they do is present themselves as a particular character. And whether they meet up to that character or continue with that avatar outside of the box that you have them in, that's on them. That's great. But that could still be a lie, right? Like, maybe they're just completely disingenuous people through and through. And if you do happen to come across those people and they're actually who they portray themselves to be online, then that's great too. But honestly, half of these people, they're human just like the rest of us, and they have to lie for a living. That's literally how they pay their mortgage, their jets, their shopping sprees, or whatever it is. They have to lie for a living. And that's what they do, and they do it best. So to get so hurt and bothered by their character is just, at this point, you have to realize these people are just doing their job. They clock out as soon as you stop watching that show. And when you see them on the street, they're just a regular person who just happened to be on TV every Friday night on HBO Max, whatever the case is. Speaking of HBO Max, I've been meaning to finish the Murdoch family documentary. I've been made aware of this family a while ago. I just don't know the intricate details of just who they are, how they make their money, the suspicious deaths that followed many of the members within the family. I remember the last story I heard of them was the father in the family. He faked he wanted, so basically, he planned out his death in order for his son to get the insurance. But come to find out, he ended up living, and it's just like this real weird Lifetime movie stuff. So he ended up living, and he got caught up in the law because of that. So not sure what's going on with the family. It's a little demonic if you ask me. But yeah, I'm tuned in. So that's on HBO Max. I started it and I need to finish it. There's another Murdoch. I think it's still on HBO Max. There's another one though, because I was listening to the JBP, the Joe Budden podcast, and he was talking about something else of the Murdochs on HBO Max. So I'm wondering if it's the same one or if it's another one. Either way, that's some homework for me to do. Let's get into another topic here. So I came across an article. First of all, these articles I'm like seeing on Instagram, and then when you click the link to it, it shows that you met the allotted time to read their free articles. And in order to continue reading their articles, you have to be a subscriber, and being a subscriber is, you have to pay. However, whatever tier you select. And I'm just such a sucker for news. Like, I like to know information. I like to know what's going on. I like all of that stuff. So I've just spent like $37 finding out news, y'all. Like, that's how I got the cow story last episode. No, but I just love it because it gives you a different perspective. There was another news story that I came across that just really tickled me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to continue reading. And in order for me to continue reading, I have to subscribe. I have to be a subscriber. I have to do it. And then you get a tote later on. So I should be expecting my tote in a couple of weeks. Anyway, there was one story that really intrigued me to just go ahead and purchase this subscription. And it was of this woman who decided to take what was it? She took like a sabbatical from work, and she was living her best Tuscany life. Let's see if I can pull it up. Tuscany life article. It was something. I think it was a Black woman. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I can't find it right now. But anyway, let me just go over it. So basically, she was working in media as a show writer or screenwriter, producer, stuff like that. And apparently those jobs are gig jobs, meaning that I don't think it's necessarily full time, or it's not a secure job. You get the job, or you have a job for as long as you have the contract for, or as long as the project is happening. So if it's a project for 3 months, then you have a secure job for 3 months, and that's just very fascinating to me. Like, oh, okay. Like, that feels unsettling. Anyway, so she was able to save up enough money to be able to afford a month or two off to go to Tuscany and really live her best life. And what I found so just beautiful about this article was she shared how she felt so anxious throughout her time there. Like, she was still thinking about, oh yeah, what led her to do it was she felt burned out, and she wanted to go to Tuscany to no longer feel burned out. And though she went to Tuscany, did the whole Tuscany experience, met different elders there, and really immerse herself in the culture, she was still hanging on to this anxiety and to this feeling of being burnt out and feeling overwhelmed. Like, there was no trip that solved it for her, or it was very much of a short-term solution. And I think about how, like, in life, we think, okay, if I just get this day off, or if I just get this new job. This new job will be great because it'll make me, I'll get more money, or I'll have this type of schedule and I have that. And I think, again, with what I said in the previous episode, it doesn't matter. Like, I think, sure, those things may help, maybe, sure, a week off in Tuscany will be a nice scenic moment for you. But when you come back, or even while you're there, you're thinking about your next steps, and you're thinking about, let's say she still was working in the field, specifically at that gig or whatever it was in the field of media. She still was thinking about the next steps for her to do. She still was very much focused and stressed and worried about work. And I think we're so forced to believe in this culture that work is our identity. That if we don't have it all together, if we don't know what we're doing career-wise, if we don't have this amount in our account, then our worth is pretty impacted in a negative way. And I don't know what to say about that. I just made that observation, so I don't really have an inspirational note. I mean, I think, though, what I can say is really about a mindset thing, right? Like, if you change your mindset, if you are active in that, in being intentional about how your thoughts are either going to help you or hurt you, then sure. But I don't know, child. Life is hard. I don't know. Like, I think, I don't know. I think we have these like short-term solutions, and it's good for a week, or I'm going to take 3 months off, or I'm going to retire. And then even in retirement, I see people in retirement and they're just bored out of their minds. They don't have anything going on for themselves. They feel very fruitless, and a lot of times when men are retired, they retire much later in life, or they finally get around to it. And if they don't retire later, they retire at an age where it just makes sense health-wise, all these things. And I feel like they lack that element of what makes them a man. It seems like there's this fear of letting go of this notion of, if you don't work, then what are you doing? Like, we haven't normalized not doing anything without shaming people for not doing anything. There's someone who I work with who I guess is like another mentor, another Black woman mentor for me, I guess. Oh, look at that. Look how God works. I feel like I've been yearning for like a Black female mentor in my life, but I never vocalized that in a way that was obvious. Like, I don't really go outright and say it. Like, I feel like people just have to show up like that in my life. Just show up, and then we'll see if we mesh. And the mentor that I talked about in a previous episode, she just shows up, and she's just been, what I like about people is, or, some relationships in my life, I feel like if you're able to calm me, if you're really able to like help me not like jump off a cliff, metaphorically, then you're all right with me, at the very least. And I think with those two women in my life in particular, they are very much that calming force in my life when it comes to me wanting, or me realizing what I been wanting, which was a female figure in my life who was just there to help calm me. And I have some women in my life who prior to them would kind of make me feel more anxious, will make me feel more not at ease, more disheveled, and just like, whew, I don't know. There's some people I just feel like I can't really be as vulnerable with, because the fear of being judged, because it's happened historically with that person, it is so much in the forefront that I have to I have to be intentional with what I say and careful with what I say, because I never want to come off, or I never want to say too much for them to feel like, oh, boom, here's an opportunity to judge you. Here's an opportunity to make you feel foolish for this decision. And the two mentors I have, the two black female mentors I have in my life. And we're back. Fun fact, the battery on my portable recorder died. So I just came back from CVS because I needed double A batteries and there wasn't any here. So I listened back to like a few seconds of what I said, something about female mentors, something about that shit. But I'll just wrap it up with that part. How yeah, I'm just super grateful for the relationships in my life, and realizing that, I didn't necessarily vocalize what I have been wanting, and it just still manifested itself the way that it needed to. So I'm grateful for that. I want to get into this topic though about this group of Brooklyn teens who decided to discard their smartphones and traded in for flip phones, like back in the day flip phones that we all know, that we all started with. At least for me, I when I was growing up, and like obviously people older than me as well know that smartphones wasn't always a thing. um Before, it was Motorola, it was the BlackBerry, it was the Sidekick. Those phones were the phones to have, and it was less social media on on there, or accessible at least at that time. And what I appreciated about that time was there wasn't this online comparison game that some of us find ourselves doing because of what's happening on our algorithm, what's happening on the feed, and feeling like we have to just one up the next person we see on a travel, on vacation, who has the next promotion, who has the next highlight. Everything is all in your face when it's online, when it's on Instagram, when it's on Twitter, these platforms that really just romanticize our lives, and it really just showcase our highlights. So it's pretty fascinating to see that, wow, this young group of people, I guess they're Gen X or no, I think they're Gen Z. These young group of folks decided to really take an initiative and take a step back away from social media, and their phones were the major step that they took. It's so easy to just go on your phone and go online and see the latest fashion, see the latest makeup, see the latest whatever it is, and still feel like you're inadequate. So um, these Brooklyn teens are promoting a lifestyle of self liberation from social media and technology. This was founded last year by Edward R. Murrow High School, a student named Logan Lane, who is the leader of a particular club at her school. And this club represents the 18th century. And I guess she's just really tapped into life during the 18th century. So it's like, okay, girl, do you want to be a slave owner or not? So anyway, so she says, quote, "I became completely consumed," she said, and quote, "all of us have bonded over this unique cause. To be in the Luddite Club, there's a level of being a misfit to it." So, I think it's a beautiful cause. It's a bunch of white folks being white, and this is for good reason. She said she noticed an uptick, or I guess it's a downtick, in mental health, and realizing that it has a lot to do with smartphones. So she decided to take this initiative and be a positive influence amongst her peers. And, do I see myself going back to flip phones? I don't know. Apple products have me in a headlock. I don't know. It's something about the blue and white screen. you know, I don't know. We'll see where life takes me, but I do recognize that social media is, can be addictive. And you may find yourself mindlessly scrolling, and next thing you know, you're feeling sad, or you're feeling confused, you're feeling underwhelmed, you're feeling overwhelmed, and you have to really be present with your emotion and check that emotion, because it may trigger something that you probably was fine with, but all of a sudden you're seeing the 10th social media account living their quote unquote best life, when honestly half these people, if not all, are lying. Everybody's a liar. Everybody is a liar. Like, I'm not even exaggerating with what I'm saying. Everybody's lying about something, especially online. Not everyone who's on these trips going to fucking Tuscany is happy. Like, they may be on the trip, but they may be vacation broke or vacation poor, right? They're not able to afford anything else while on the trip. They have to be very economical about it. And hey, that may be your jazz, but that may be a little bit of a stressor for me. I would hate to go on vacation and feel like I am restricted to just a resort or just my hotel room. That is, that's something that people don't show. People just show the passports and the plane ticket and how the room looks. But it's like, okay, while you're in the room, though, you can only eat but so much. And you better not order room service. You have all these things. And so, child, I don't know. And I can't, I come on. I commend this movement. I really do. I think there is a movement also to push forth more of an authentic point of view online. Like, there are some accounts that I follow or that I watch on YouTube that come across more authentic and vulnerable. Like, they're not flashy, they're not all these things, and I do appreciate that. I follow more white YouTubers than black ones. Like, I can't even tell you one. There's one person of color. No, there's people of color who I follow on YouTube, who I watch their videos pretty regularly. But it's for a number of reasons. I noticed that when I watch, or when I used to watch, black female YouTubers, I would just see the same thing, and it just didn't resonate with me. And the same thing that I saw was this push to demonstrate this luxurious lifestyle. I'm so luxurious. Look at my Chanel bag. Look at my lace front. Look at the false eyelashes I'm getting. And I just don't relate. I don't relate. That's not me. Like, I don't like fake eyelashes. I don't like wigs. I don't like to wear them myself. I don't like to wear these. Like, even when I have worn fake eyelashes, it just never looked right. I'm like, damn, what am I doing wrong? And then when I would get it professionally done once or twice, or by a friend of mine who happens to be a makeup artist, I just feel like it just doesn't look right on me. And it may be my perception, but I just ultimately just don't think those things work well with me. So when I see a majority of the black female YouTubers show just that side only, like, I don't see anything else about them. I just see this 32-inch weave or a wig or a lace front. Here's how to lay down your edges. And it's like just like stereotypical-esque hood black girl. And I just don't relate. I just don't relate to that. So I don't really watch black girls on YouTube. Damn. I know it sounds kind of, I don't know, not to sound racist. I just like, some things I just don't relate to. And, there are some white girls who I follow too, or watch their videos, and I just don't relate to some things that they do sometimes. Like, some of the things. Like, many of them get Botox. Many of them get fillers, and like, that's the white girl experience. As for black girls, many of them, or I'm saying us because I'm a black girl, but I just don't do it. They, get their eyelashes done Like they're not just like, you know how you have those false eyelashes you can apply to your eye. No, they go to an actual like person, sit in their chair and have them add particular eyelash strips or like singles into there. It's like this whole thing. And I've seen this woman who had an allergic reaction. I don't know what they did wrong, or it was just her body just rejecting that. But both of her eyes got poofy. You know, stuff like that. Just like, why are we doing this? Like, this was never a thing like 7 years ago. But I'm noticing now there's just more of this. I need to get my lashes done. I need to get my lashes done. I can't relate. And I don't want to relate. So there's that. I just don't relate to the Botox, the fillers, the lace fronts. You know, yeah. So the lace fronts are more of the black girl experience, while the Botox and the fillers are more of the white girl experience. I need to get my lashes done. That's more of a black girl experience. What else is a black girl experience? My edges, well, yeah, lace front, weaves, all that stuff. I can't relate. I can't relate, and it just doesn't do it for me. So yeah, many of the black girls who I see on YouTube are more of that sort, and they demonstrate this like luxurious. Look at me. I have all the latest brands, and I don't know. It just feels inauthentic to me. And sure, I'm sure they do have those things. Like, maybe they do. Like, maybe that is true. I'm not hating on that. I just feel like I don't really know you. Like, you know, like all I see you do is shop or unbox your latest Chanel purse, and I just can't relate. And that's fine. Like, I'm not sad that I can't relate at all. I like more of some of the white girls I follow. They don't. Yeah, they do show sometimes their designer goods, but you know, they'll crack jokes, or I don't know, this a different aesthetic. It's a different aesthetic. Honestly, I don't know how to explain it if you don't really get it, but yeah, so a lot on my feed. You'll see a lot of white girls. You'll see a lot of white girls. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for listening, and I will check in with you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. See you later. Arrivederci. No, how you say it? Arrivederci. Ooh, okay, whatever. Bye.